Okay? What we're going to do the worksheet today. But just to give you an idea of the project, you're going to create a wild and spooky Halloween card for one of your classmates. So, well, you don't want it to be boring. Don't laugh. So, oops, I should record. Oh, yeah. All right, you're going to draw a classmate's name and then construct a spirited card to give to that person to encode. So on the front of the card, you're going to need to put the person's name. Inside, you're going to do an encoded message, and then you're going to do an encoding matrix on the back. That will be like your hallmark signature, okay? So what's the encoded message? How do you do the encoded matrix? Flip over, and that's what we're going to go through right now. So, you know there's many ways to encrypt. You've done 4 different encryptions in your tasks throughout this whole unit, okay? This is doing the inverse, but I'm also going to show you a different way to do the inverse, all right? So, here are the steps of what you're going to do tomorrow. Okay, the first thing is you're going to create an invertible 2x2. How do you know if a matrix is invertible? First off, do you know what it means to be invertible? Have a what? Yep, it needs to have an inverse, absolutely. How do you know if it's invertible or not? Can you remember? Okay, your determinant is greater than 0. Okay, that's how you know. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to make up whatever determinant you're going to want to do. You're going to do a matrix of 2x2. Okay, and you're going to compute your determinant and use the fact that it's invertible only if it's non-zero. So let's say I pick, I don't think I brought my cheat sheet here with me. Let's say I pick up, make a matrix of, let's say 4, 3, 0, 2. Just made up numbers, all right? Now, my determinant for this is going to be 8 minus 0. Okay, awesome. All right, that's perfect. Okay, so I can use this one. All right, now I need to, but I want to find a determinant that has either a plus or minus 1. Okay, so think about what I have here, and what can I do to get my operation, I'm going to use row operations, to get a determinant of a plus or minus 1. How can I get, right now I'm at 8. How could I get it to get to I can't just change. I got to use row operations. Remember your row operations? You can interchange, you can multiply by, or you can multiply by a row and then add another row. What if I size 0? What if I multiplied, let's see, 2? What if I multiplied row 1 by let's see, 2. how would I get by like 1/8? What would that do? And see, when I say proper notation, that's when I remember that part. So if I multiply 1/8 by row 1, I would get 4/8 and 3/8. Right? Would you agree with that? Okay, because anything I multiply by 0 is going to give me 0. So I was just looking at what can I multiply to get me. So 4/8 times 2, 1/2 times 2 is going to give me 1. Does that make sense? And then 1 minus 0 gets me a positive 1. Okay? Are you all with me on how I did that? Oh, okay. All right. So I have an inverse. Or I have 1/2, 3/8, 0, and 2. There is a bazillion different ways that you can do it. Just literally play around with the numbers. Pick numbers that are easy to work with. Doesn't matter, okay? Everybody's are going to be completely different, okay? Now, remember how we found the inverse where we did our REF and then we put it in with the identity? There's another way to find an inverse, okay? And the inverse is where you multiply 1 over the determinant of the original by into flip-flopping your numbers. So my A is going to be 1/2, 0, 3/8, and 2. Okay? Now, what was my determinant of A? No, that was my determinant of my original. 1. Right? So that means that the inverse is 1 over 1. There was a reason why I wanted to get it to 1, because then I don't have to do anything but flip my signs. D now goes up to the top. B stays in the same position but becomes negative. C stays in the same position but becomes negative. And A flips down. And there's my inverse. Did you guys follow me on that?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 by 2s is a lot easier, right? Did I say -2? Don't listen. Dude, I'm so looped up on cough syrup and stuff right now. Just go with what you know. All right? Yeah, I wanted to see if you guys said -0. All right, because isn't that a conversation you guys were having over there the other day? Yeah, I did that for you. All right, so then what you're going to do is you're going to create your message and rearrange them into a matrix. Now, I just did 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You cannot do anything that easy. But make sure it has a pattern so the person can decode it to figure it out. All right? So like maybe every third or maybe every fourth or some kind of pattern. Then you're going to rearrange it into a matrix. So like I took these numbers and I went top, here is column 1, column 2, column 3. You could have done like all of these were row 1, then all of these are row 2. That part's up to you. All right? Then do the product of A and B. Okay? This is your B and this is your A. And that's what's going to be sent as your message. So in your card, you're going to give them this. Okay? And then the inverse is your hallmark.
What do you mean hallmark?
It's what they need to decode it. So that's what you're going to put on the back side of the card as your hallmark. Does that make sense? What do you mean copyright? I'm not saying it as the company. No. Okay, so tomorrow while I'm gone, you're going to be able to use these notes, and I have a step-by-step guide for you to make your cards. You have to decorate your cards, so get creative.
So like on a piece of paper that we'll get?
You okay?
I told you.
I don't think I have any orange and black paper, but I can find some tonight.
The more I talk to you, the more I fall.
Comrade ally. Ew. That's so gross. I'm gonna keep touching it.